Hey you guys, it is your girl Talk They Talk Mia, and I am back with the continuation of this love story. So let's just pick back up where we left off. I'm gonna start it at like the morning of court, okay? So the morning that I had to go to court, y'all, there was a song in my spirit that, first of all, the first word that came to me was propaganda when I first woke up. Then the song that came in my spirit was This Means War. So it's a gospel song, okay? And look it up. Just type in This Means War lyrics and it should pop up. So y'all, I get dressed, I'm prepared. You know, it's so crazy that I put on a little camouflage Converse that day with a little green dress, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go in and prove my case. My case that I did not telephone harass anyone. Okay, the false charge that was pressed against me. So, I have my little text messages and everything. I printed out. I didn't get a telephone record at the time because like I couldn't, and it was everything happened so fast. So it was like, okay, screw this. I'm just gonna go in and say, hey, like I didn't do it. Like, where is the proof? Okay. So, y'all, I'm up here, I'm driving on my way, up myself up. At this point, I had turned off the gospel, This Means War. And oh my God, Rick Ross, War Ready, was in my was in my mental. Y'all, listen to that song. And when he started off, he said, if money is power, then I got millions of power. And basically say he was like ready to go to war. So y'all, oh my God, the revelation, like that was the spirit side of me in the flesh in me. Knowing I had no millions of dollars, but I'm listening like, whoo. But now that I think about it, like that could have been a song for the other person, whoever. I don't know these court terminologies, but the NFL player. So I'm sitting over here. I'm like, okay, but whatever. We get there. I tell my mom, like, Mama, you're not coming in here. You're not about to hear anything that's about to be said in these, in the court. Like, I wanted to spare her the embarrassment. Like, I was embarrassed myself because of what I got myself into. But we were here. So, we get sworn in and everything, and he takes the stand first. So when he took the stand, he goes on to like say so many lies on steroids. Okay. He said all of his lies, like I did everything under the sun and harassed him like for so much money. Okay. So I'm like, where is this money, ordeal steady coming from? Like, what? It's not making sense to me, but that makes me even confident all the more because you're lying. But the only proof that I have about that shows that you're lying is my text messages. Like, that's what shows that you're lying. Okay? So when he gets up, guess what was the first thing that come out of his mouth as he was walking back to his seat? Oh, I don't have any records of anything. Like, I deleted everything out of my phone. Okay, case should have been closed, but that's me, my fault. I went in there, running my mouth, trying to state my case and prove myself to the judge that I was innocent, and I told this lady that I was not guilty, y'all. So I'm sitting there and I'm telling my testimony. I'm going against everything that he has said, and I'm pulling up text messages that I printed off and like, here's it, this is this, this is this, this is this. Y'all, they set me up before I even went in there. Okay. So yeah. Oh my God. Not to mention when I first got in, I tried to go in there. He was sitting in there with the chief deputy, and the deputy came to the door and told me to go have a seat outside until they called me in there. Like, all these little special privileges, because of money. Okay, the hometown hero. But anyway, let me not get carried away, because y'all, okay, anyway. So the court, continues, and as I'm sitting there telling my story, this is him with his head in his hands, like, this girl is really sitting here just telling the truth, and I done lied, and she has evidence, that's going against every lie that he has stated. Like, it wasn't making sense. So I guess the prosecutor or whomever, I think he had a public defender for the state of Mississippi. He goes and he says, so, well, did you contact him from this date and this date and this date and this? I'm like, yeah, we were texting, on that date. And he went and used something that I had said and tried to, like, turn it all around. And I'm like, bro, like, you and I both know that that's not that. So you need to open your mouth and, let that be the case. Like, tell them the truth. Well, he did. Of course he didn't. He did not. And the prosecutor was like asking the judge, okay, now judge, like, have you found her guilty of telephone harassment charges? And he was like, what about the extortion and all of that? And I'm like, extortion? Like, who did I extort? Like, and then it was the whole lie for me that I wanted to move away from my hometown to go to another place because this place wasn't big enough for me. I couldn't grow. I couldn't thrive. It was just like, I think he probably mixed up bits and pieces of conversations that we have had before, and he probably took his own, take from that. And I mean, who can I blame? Oh, okay, like, you feel that way about me? Oh, okay then. But anyway, keep going. The judge said, ma'am, can you, like, show me the piece of paper with this particular text message? So I gave it to her, and she turns it around to the public defender or whomever, I'm gonna say the offense attorney. I mean, a defense attorney. But she was like, sir, this is not extortion. And he goes, but judge, like, there's a thin line. I'm like, dude, I did not, like, why are we lying? She was like, fine, if you want to continue it, I'm just going to sign the warrant. You send a deputy in here, and we can go ahead and get her arrested now, and bond is set for $10,000, and whoa. She lost me. Lost me. I'm going back and forth with these people the whole time. This man getting all disrespectful with me and telling me, would you just be quiet? No, you talking too. Let's argue. Let's argue. That's what we're here for, right? I'm here, like, my livelihood has been affected. So that's why we're here, right? Okay. So he goes on again. What about that telephone harassment charge? I find her guilty on telephone harassment. You did what? I did what? Y'all. Right then, right there, like, my body went numb. I couldn't say nothing. It was just like, I know you're lying. So I go on to say, and I'm like, well, okay, cool. Well, let me just press my charges on the football player, because I want to press them on whomever I can press them on. And I told her, I was like, I've tried to press charges before today, And I said one of the ladies in the office told me that I couldn't press charges until I went to court. That would have to be something that the judge would allow me to do. I cannot press charges on someone because of their status. I had to wait to go to court to press charges. Okay, cool. Well, we get in court, and guess what? She asked me what did I want to press charges for and on who, and I told her, and I'm like, intimidation, all of this. And then you see, as I'm asking her this question, the player reaches over to his attorney or whomever whoever he was with him. He reaches over and he asks him, what charges can she press on me? He tells him intimidation or whatever, and he was like, like, that's just a misdemeanor. But this dude knows that it goes against his code of conduct in the NFL's policy. But y'all not gonna let me press charges? Like, he just pressed whole false charges on me. But you're not gonna let me press charges? I don't get it. It's not making sense to me. But what did I do? I walked outside where my mom was. I told her what was happening as they had walked me out to arrest me and bring me back in and, talk to me and tell me. She was like, okay, we're going to, this will serve as your initial appearance and all of this. And y'all, and I'm like, so I told my mom and I started crying. My mom said, you better stop crying right now. Right now. You already know what this means. So I'm like, I don't know what it means, but y'all, your girl was burnt up. You hear me? I'm talking about like burnt up. Like, I'm like, okay, then, this is about to be a ride. All right, you signed up for this, Jamia, so let's go. Let's get it. All right, y'all, that was the start of stress that I never felt in my life, anxiety that I'd never felt. Like, y'all, I don't know if you ever felt stressed to the point where you feel your hair follicles, the roots tingling, like all through your head and in the back of your head, and just so much, y'all. Oh my God. It was the start before I went back in there. So they were like, okay, you have to talk to the investigator before we take you down to the county. So I'm like, okay, you're gonna take me down to the county? Okay, cool. Like, I gotta go get locked up. Like, you have to go take me to get booked in? I have to go to jail again? Like, so y'all, at this point, it was just like, what in the world? Like, really, I'm sorry, that train is becoming so loud. I stay in a small city, like rural area, of course. But anyway, I went in there, I interviewed with the guy, and the first thing that the guy tells me, the investigator, he says, I shouldn't even be taking this case because I know both of you guys. I know, like, I dated your aunt from junior high until 5 years after college. Then he goes on to tell me that backstory. Then he says, well, I know his family too. And he was like, I don't talk to him anymore because, he said, I don't talk to him anymore because we fell out about some dogs last year. So I'm like, oh, okay then, me not knowing nothing, I'm just trying to tell my story, give my evidence, back myself up with what I'm going back and forth with. Little I know, I could just keep my mouth closed. But keep my mouth closed for what, when I'm literally telling the truth? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see why I had to shut up if I was telling the truth. But anyway, we finish, we go through that whole process. He tells me, okay, talk to me like I'm your dad, and I'm not gonna record you this time, and I'm gonna record you the second time, and like, whatever. But he probably was recording all along, whatever. But anyway, I get locked up. The jailer everyone's just telling me like, oh, they did you bad, like they railroaded you, and you know they try to play good cop bad cop on you, and you know just so much this that and the other the nine. And they was like, oh, when you get your money, just you know come holler at me. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like I got some whole charges on me that are not, you know, just that are not that, and y'all coming at me talking about some money. Like, first of all, like I'm thinking about my nursing license for one. Like, y'all know I done told y'all what I had to go through to get those license. Okay. But that and everything else was just like, I don't know. My world had just been tossed and turned and burned and upside down. And this old strong girl couldn't be strong no more. No more. It. Like I said, that was the start of stress and depression. And like after being locked up, y'all, so much stuff had to happen to me. Like in there, when the clerk or whomever she was called down there, the lady was trying to see if they sent me a bun, if they had them posted my bun and all that kind of stuff. And they was like, well, no, she needs to pay that the telephone harassment fine before she could be released. She need to pay the fine and that bond amount. So they wanted that little $1,500 before I got out. So we was trying to get out, but the jailer goes, "Oh, she's trying to be low down. She want to make you stay until after 4:30. If you stay in here until 4:30, you can't get out until the next day." So I'm like, okay, whoop de whoop, all of it, go through that. After that happened, y'all, like I said, there was that spiral. And I didn't know what to do, y'all. Like, it was so something. And I know, hold on, there was the scripture that came to my phone, and I was reading it, and it was about plead your case to the highest court. Plead your case to the highest court. I'm like, okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay, like it was like plead your case, and like it's so much. I'm gonna find that exact scripture, and I probably should have found it before I got on here. But in all of that, y'all, I literally, like, God had to send somebody my way. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you, her name is Shawanda. She goes by Lenshaw. Y'all, he even sent her my way to get me away from this city for about a week and a half to like clear my mind and my brain, y'all. But like I was so sick. Like I didn't know like literally what to do, but that was the start of some therapy for me, y'all. I was just like, oh my God. But that's how I know I hadn't realized that this was a spiritual battle, because when I left her house, like it's like I went to get fed, I went to get somewhere, I went for an escape. But when I came back to the thought and idea after I hadn't done all the work, you know, got my detailed billing and highlighted everything. I had did all the work that an attorney would need to do. Like I had already done all of the work. So I went to sit down with one. Mind y'all, the day I was finna go and sit down with one, my grandma called me, was like, Jamil, you got mail over here. So I went over to grandma's house to get my mail, and there it was telling me that I had at this time it was 24 hours to get an attorney, y'all. So the letter was like done on the 6th. It was out in the mail on the 7th. I received it on the 8th, and it said that I needed to have my own attorney by the 9th. Okay. Well, they told me that since I had what I like, it was like $5,000. Basically, I forgot exactly what it said, but it was like we can't, supply you with a public defender. So I called the person back and, went through the whole 9. I'm not gonna just walk y'all down and tell this whole story, but he was just like, first he didn't act like he didn't know what I was talking about, for one. But then he came back, he was like, oh yeah, they feel like if you can bond out, then you have the money to pay for an attorney. So I'm like, okay, cool. And someone was like, well, you don't want an attorney that they're gonna give you anyway. You already see what has happened to you. So imagine if you had a public defender. Don't go that route. So I'm like, okay. So I go talk to this attorney, y'all, and this man tells me $17,000, 5 to go and appeal the telephone harassment charge with all the records that I had right there for $5,000. He had to do no work, but he was just gonna charge me $5,000 just to take some paperwork down to the court office. Okay. Not only that, but he told me that we could handle it, one or two ways. He was like, he could send a message through his race car driver and tell him not to show up to court if he didn't want to be embarrassed, or we could do it the way that it's supposed to be done, the traditional way. So in my mind, I'm just like, oh my God, I need to go. I need to travel. I need to go get this money, and he tells me, pull your nursing application from California. You need to stop everything, because once they get that blow on you, it's done. You're going to be denied a license in California. So I'm just like, okay. Mind y'all, I told you that my license are still pending. I never withdrew my application, but God works in mysterious ways. Okay. But going on, like, I'm just like, oh my God. Like I said, I'm sitting there and hold on. Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I started crying, and then guess what, y'all? When we were wrapping up our conversations, he was telling me, things about, how money obviously doesn't make a person happy and all that kind of stuff. And he goes on, this man gonna tell me that it seems like to him that I need a sugar daddy. I'm like, so was he trying to like be my sugar daddy or what? Like, I didn't get it. Like, it was, y'all, there was a terrible decision that I had to, like, phantom everything. But anyway, when I left that office, y'all, I just took some deep breaths. I cried for a second, and I got to the house. As soon as I got to the house, like, again, my follicles, everything, I'm like, my anxiety through the roof, feeling so much tension in my head. And I opened my Bible app, y'all. So I opened up to John chapter 10. So in John chapter 10, it talks about the good shepherd and his sheep. It says, I tell you the truth. Anyone who sneaks over the wall of sheepfold rather than going through the gate must surely be a thief and a robber. But the one who enters through the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep recognize his voice and come to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him because they know his voice. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they don't know his voice. Okay, so I just had to read to y'all, like, the first part. But this was the part that really stood out to me. And here Jesus is talking because it's in red, okay? He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him and he isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. The hired hand runs away because he's working only for the money and doesn't really care about the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own sheep, and they know me, just as my father knows me, and I know the Father. I'm gonna stop right there, y'all. And that particular verses that I was like paying attention and keyed in on when I got to the house that day was John chapter 10, verses 11 through 13. When I saw that and read that, I was like, okay, God, like, that's it. I get it. I hear you. He only want the money. He's only gonna do what the money allows him to do, okay? He don't care about me. He just cares about the money. He is not to be a representative of me. What does this mean? I dare you to go a little deeper. Jamia, this is a spiritual war, baby. Ain't nothing about this in the flesh, okay? Nothing. So y'all, as I was literally like realizing those things, I was just like, oh my God, what am I to do? So I hold on, let me go to Deuteronomy 17, because I'm gonna show y'all this other verse that came to me, and I hope that this is it. I hope, hold on. I hope so. Okay. But anyway, hold on. But I'm just like, anyway, I hope that this is what it is, and like, God, you're gonna have to come help me. But being that this phone is so slow, y'all. Hold on. Deuteronomy. Hold on. Okay. I hope that this is it. Okay, so I'm gonna read Deuteronomy 17. Never sacrifice sick or defective cattle, sheep, or goats to the Lord your God, for he detests such gifts. When you begin living in the town the Lord your God is giving you, a man or woman among you might do evil in the sight of the Lord your God and violate the covenant. For instance, they might serve other gods or worship the sun, the moon, or any of the stars, the forces of heaven, which I have strictly forbidden. When you hear about it, investigate the matter thoroughly. If it is true that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, then the man or woman who has committed such an evil act must be taken to the gates of the town and stoned to death. But never put a person to death on the testimony of only one witness. There must always be 2 or 3 witnesses. The witnesses must throw the first stones, and then all the people may join in. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Suppose a case arises in a local court that is too hard for you to decide. For instance, whether someone is guilty of murder or only of manslaughter, or a difficult lawsuit or case involving different kinds of assault. Take such legal cases to the place the Lord your God will choose, and present them to the Levitical priest or the judge on duty at the time. They will hear the case and declare the verdict. You must carry out the verdict they announce and the sentence they prescribe at the place the Lord chooses. You must do exactly what they say. After they have interpreted the law and declared their verdict, the sentences they impose must be fully executed. Do not modify it in any way. Anyone arrogant enough to reject the verdict of the judge or of the priest who represents the Lord your God must die. In this way, you will purge the evil from Israel. Then everyone else will hear about it and be afraid to act so arrogantly. Okay? In all honesty, that was not the verses that came to me, but it's a lot in that to unpack too. But anyhow, I got to the point where I was consciously knowing that it was spiritual, okay? He gonna bring that verse back to me. But anyway, y'all, so my body was like literally on fire, and I was like, before I knew it, I was out of all of my clothes, on the floor, in tongues, just crying to God, letting him have his way in me. I was so angry, y'all, just like super angry because of, like, I didn't feel like I deserved such things. But as I was laying there on the floor, I started feeling a calmness come over me. And when I got up, there was 3 things that I heard. Well, there were 3 things that I heard. And it was 1, vengeance is not yours, it's mine. The Lord says that. Vengeance is not ours, it's his. 2, when someone does something to you, you turn the other cheek. Let them do it again. 3, do not covet anything from your neighbor. Don't want nothing that your neighbor got. Let me break that down a little further. As I said, vengeance is not ours, it's God. We do not have to retaliate. We do not have to want to go and take somebody's head off because they tried to take our shoulder off, or they tried to take our eye out. But we going for the whole head. Remember, I told y'all I went for revenge, and I went 20 times harder. Okay? Second, turn the other cheek. Like, if they punch you in the back of your neck, turn to the front. Let them punch the front. Don't do anything. When has good ever been not so good? The deeper the meaning. Sometimes it hurt being good, y'all. Not sometimes, a lot of times, oftentimes. Being good doesn't always mean that you're going to feel good. Because our flesh is like being crucified every single day. Like, we are being literally like dying to the flesh when we decide to do good. Because the flesh be wanting to do evil things. No. And last, don't covet anything of your neighbors. Y'all, when I heard that, it just made me feel like, don't even want nothing from your husband. Like, don't even desire a man's belongings. And honestly, like before all of this had even came out, it was already being stirred up in my heart not to desire a guy's bag. Like, because I realized that us as women, I'm sorry, y'all, my contact. Us as women, like, we are the bags. Like, we carry the wisdom, okay? The wisdom to keep a man strong and sane, and to feed him, uplifting words, and can war in the spirit, and, pray, and all of those things. Just a safe place, an outlet, a place to allow men to be vulnerable, because we are such beings. Like, we are able to, have that capacity. Like, it's so much deeper, and I would like to talk about that another day too. The us being the bags, the wisdom carriers. And when you have wisdom, you have wealth and riches. So yeah, but those were my 3 lessons. And when I got that, I got up, y'all, and I started to walk a little bit stronger. And the Lord never leaves you hanging. That same day, he had Sarah Jake's sermon come to my phone. And that sermon was called The Tutor in the Test. She just confirmed everything to me that he was saying, but I was really like doubting, because it didn't make sense, especially to other people, because they want to say, oh, you were given, this many tests, and you kept failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing the test. Okay, whatever. That's your take. But God is taking me somewhere. So obviously I'm graced, again, I say, graced to do such. Because I'm going to open my mouth. Because I'm going to tell the people. Y'all, we shouldn't make mistakes that can, be prevented. And I'm not going to call them mistakes, because, they're lessons. But I'm going to stop right there before I go further there. But anyway, he's the tutor in the test. And I have been tutored with every situation and circumstance that I had faced thus far. So that leads me to, obviously, the test. I'm going to see, are you really for me? Are you really, 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 really for me? I'm like, man, I done been burned up. You done purged, and you took everything out of me. And, and then this last straw, I'm like, oh my God, like, whoa. So now I'm at the great test. At the test, and I felt like, I have gone through enough where you would feel like you being tested, because tests are hard, y'all. They are so hard. Super hard. But I guess God be really want to know, like, are you deserving enough to carry this glory? Are you deserving to go to the next? Because you want the millions of dollars to give away. You want all these things. But what makes you so deserving of these things? You have yet to prove yourself to me. It ain't gonna be easy, big girl, little girl, for that matter. Show me. You gotta work. And y'all, the spiritual work began. What did I get ready to do? He was already telling me to go to California. And I went for 8 days, and I was saying that I was gonna stay when I went, and I didn't stay when I should have stayed. I should have stayed when I went. But he always gonna get you back to where you need to be. And yeah, it was time to go to another level of faith. Another level of faith, y'all. And oh my God, it was so scary. So scary. So scary. But that's gonna be in the next video. The Hollywood experience. Yeah, I went to Los Angeles, California. Okay? Not the little league, but the big league. I went there with absolutely nothing. That's why when I think about, what the guy, the NFL player had said, it's like, boy, you don't even know me. You don't know the faith walks and journey that I have taken. You could have told that lie on somebody else. Not me. But this ain't even about that. This was a whole spiritual journey, walk for me. And it gets deeper, y'all. How am I today when it comes to the legal situation? It has affected me in ways. I've been denied jobs because of the telephone harassment on my background. The only reason I have my job that I have today is because I worked for this lady before, and she was ready to go to bat with whomever to get me back. So thank God for that. But it's a journey. I'm ready to put it behind me. It's been a year. Well, just about a year. Like next week or the week after that. Yeah, next week will make a year. And nothing has happened. I have not had a fair chance at a court case to put this behind me. I can't even get the telephone harassment expunged because that is still hanging over my head. I've been told that he only did it to shut me up, but what about my livelihood? What about me wanting to go back to school and can't get a background check, pass a background check? Y'all, that's not good. I've been broken down in so many ways. I see a therapist because the state of mind, the trauma that has been placed on me, it's not right. I have dreams about being in federal prison. I have dreams, just so many crazy dreams, y'all, and only imagine just being tormented and wanted to make me so angry. Like, so angry. And at this point, like, I'm tired of it. Like, I don't know. But I'm going to get a fair shot. I trust in the Lord. This story is still being written. And that's it. That's all I can do is trust in God, y'all. Justice will be served. And I will not have a false telephone harassment charge on my background anymore. And that extortion charge will be reversed because that's a lie. He defamed my character and slandered me with that one and the other one and everything else that he did. But it's okay. It's okay. I look to God to all things. For all things. Like, it's all good. I'm on a battlefield for God, not men, not man. And all the more it makes me, just have my eyes open and pay attention to things. Like, you gotta pay attention. But y'all, don't give up on God. Seriously. Because he will not give up on you. I am a living testimony. And I don't care about the lack and all other things that just does not seem right in my life, because once I take my eyes off of mere human being and human nature and all of that, like, I'm fine. I'm fine. God has built me in a way to where I can survive anything, no matter what it feels like, what it look like. I may get down, I might cry, I might scream, I might shout, and I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna stomp, I'm gonna clap my hands and everything else too at the end, because trouble don't last always. Like, no. I'm looking to God to fix everything and be my redeemer. Okay? So, I guess we should just say we're going to sit back and watch him work. We're going to watch him work. And I do have a strong belief that I will be able to go back to nursing school and become that registered nurse. And everything will work out in my favor. All of these false charges will be behind me, because the Lord, my God, says that I am what? Not guilty. Not guilty of the charges. All right, y'all. I hope that y'all have learned something and took away some very valuable information, and just don't look to this video to serve as tea. It's testimony, y'all, not tea. Testimony about the goodness of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So if you don't know him, I suggest you get to know him. All right. Your girl Talk That Talk Mia is outie.